Skype from Las Vegas is UFC President Dana White. And Dana, I have to imagine it has been a wild day for you. When did this actually become 100% official?
Well, it became, we got a deal done this week, and we really got everything finalized today. Early this morning, everything got finalized, and here we are.
This has been a crazy week. You done broke down the concrete for Never Never Land for Dana White. You had a crazy Kendrick Lamar concert at your son's Sweet 16. Now you get this deal done. Where do I sit at? Am I in the first row, the second row? You know what I mean? I'm assuming I don't get +1. Just let me know where I'm sitting at for the Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather fight.
It's going to be a tough one to get tickets for.
I can be a water boy.
Look at this. We're doing you were just at the party on Saturday. Now you're looking for Conor
I'm greedy.
Yeah, but it's done. It's going to be 12 rounds. It will be August 26th at the T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas. And then they're going to wear 10-ounce gloves, 154 pounds, boxing ring. Mayweather Promotions will build the undercard. It will be a boxing event. Showtime is the, they have a deal with Floyd, so trying to throw all the information I can at you. That's about it.
So on a more serious note, Dana, you showed some frustration that this took a long time to get done. How was the negotiation to get this fight booked? Was it smooth or was it kind of rough?
No, it actually went a lot better than I thought it would. Floyd's team he's got a bunch of good guys, smart guys. When you go into a deal with people, believe me, I deal with a lot of people that have no idea what they're doing and what they're talking about. But when you go in with a bunch of guys that are actually really intelligent, know what they're talking about, know what to really fight for and what not to fight for, a deal goes really smooth and goes really well.
Dana, this is historic. I'm sure money-wise, it's probably going to be the biggest fight in combat sports history. How much are these guys going to make?
Yeah, it's definitely the biggest fight ever in combat sports history and probably going to be the biggest payday ever. Let's just put it this way. All sides involved are pretty happy with their deals and ready to fight on August 26th.
I can imagine. But, Floyd, of course, was retired. Conor is active. He is our lightweight champion. I know that Conor fans want to know what happens to him after this fight. Is he obligated to come back and fight for the UFC? Will we ever see him in the octagon again? You
guys know how I feel about Conor McGregor, and he's just one of these guys. The reason he has so much success and other than, when he goes in, he wins fights impressively, but he really is the guy who's willing to fight anybody, anywhere, anytime. I talked to him this morning. He's so pumped for this fight. He's telling me how he's going to knock Floyd Mayweather out. And he wants to turn right around again after this fight and fight again this year. So Conor will fight Floyd on August 26th, and then he will fight again before the end of the year.
Wow, that's crazy. This is the first time that we've seen two greats in their respective lane merge and fight each other. Is this the biggest fight from a spectator and an entertainment standpoint that we've ever seen in combat sports?
Yeah, guys, we do fights every weekend. We've done big fights, and I've been to big fights and whatever you want to call it. I've never been a part of something like this. No matter where I go, no matter who I meet, everybody talks about Floyd versus Conor. Is it going to happen? I was in Mexico recently. People were asking me in Mexico and everywhere. It's amazing. This will be the biggest fight ever in the history of two people punching each other.
So what's your prediction on pay-per-view buys, Dana? What does this do?
I think that it breaks the record in the United States. I think it breaks the record in the UK. I think it breaks the record in Australia and Canada too.
So what was it? 2.4 million pay-per-view buys for Pacquiao and Floyd? 4 million. 4 million, sorry.
4 million.
Yeah, they did. So you think it will beat 4 million?
They did 4 million and rising because when you're in the pay-per-view business, the buys just keep rolling in, for years.
So, Dana, Oscar De La Hoya had criticized this fight, saying it was going to hurt boxing, saying it was a circus, basically saying that, it does no good for either sport. What's your take on that? Why is he wrong?
Why is he? Let me tell you what he's wrong. What he's wrong about is why do you do that? You're going to go out and start telling people not to buy somebody else's fight? It's crazy. It's crazy. There's just Triple G and Canelo will fight in September, and it's a great fight. It's a great fight. I love that fight. I'm going to watch that fight. I, at heart, am a fight fan. And when you're a fight fan, you want to see great fights, right? Right now, this block, and at this time, the end of this year, we have a ton of great fights. GSP's coming back. John Jones is going to fight Cormier. This fight's happening. Then you look at a bunch of different boxing fights that are happening. It's a great end of the year for fight fans. And you know what I encourage everybody? Hey, if you want to see Mayweather versus McGregor, awesome. Check it out. Come buy the tickets, buy the pay-per-view, whatever you want to do. And guess what? You should probably buy Triple G and Canelo too, because that's going to be a great fight. You know what I mean? Oscar De La Hoya is out of his mind to come out and tell people not to buy a fight. I mean, seriously, what the hell's wrong with this guy?
Well, I'm assuming that Oscar De La Hoya doesn't think it's a great idea because he didn't set it up himself.
Yeah, and how about, when the thing was even being toyed around, he's like, oh, no, hey, we'd love to do Canelo versus McGregor, but now it's the worst, biggest disgrace ever in the history of boxing because he's not a part of it. It's just crazy. I've known the guy for a long time, but what an absolute straight-up hater.
So what is the anticipation for this fight? You watch the UFC countdown, the road to the octagon, then bet it. You see the 360 with the boxing. What can we – everybody wants to see every single stone that goes into this fight. What do you guys have planned for that?
Yeah, so Showtime is going to put on, showed leading up to the fight. Showtime will do, all the things that they do because they have Mayweather under contract. And then we will also do embedded series leading up to the fight. And, obviously we're coming up with all the things that we're going to do, for the fans to watch, to get more excited for the fight.
Well, I do want to ask, too, what the UFC's involvement is in the actual fight. We've heard in the past Anderson Silva wanted to take on a boxing match. We've heard that Jimmy Manuwa wants to fight David Haye. Will the UFC be involved in the undercard, in the production that night itself? How much involvement will you have?
No. So Mayweather Promotions will build the excuse me. Mayweather Promotions will build the card, and Showtime will do the production.
Got it. And then you'll just print money, I guess.
Well, listen, you guys know how I am about that stuff. When you have great fights and continue to put on good fights, the money comes with all that.
Nice.
At the end of the day, the one thing that I care about is that when people walk away from spending their money, and more important than that is actually spending a night of your life, Saturday night, you're going to stay home, that you actually walk away satisfied. And you guys know as well as I do, Conor McGregor will go into that ring, he will go after Floyd Mayweather, and he will try to knock him out. So hopefully that makes for a great, stylistic fight, and it ends up being good. And if that's the case, then the money is just, the money's part of the deal.
And is that what's in it for the UFC and for MMA, the fact that we have somebody like Conor who will just absolutely go for it? Because otherwise, if the UFC is not involved in the production and is not involved in building the undercard, one could ask what's in it for the UFC.
What's in it for me? Conor McGregor wanted to do this, and I've said it a million times. Conor McGregor, I've stood in the living room when his opponent pulled out, and, there's so much pressure on people when you're making the kind of money that Conor McGregor makes, and people don't want to make mistakes, and, oh, this is my brand, and all this stuff that the fans don't want to hear about. Fans just want to see great fights. Conor McGregor is that guy that when, he's staring at, down the barrel of, oh, my opponent pulled out, now I'm going to have to fight a guy who stylistically is supposed to be bad for me because he's a wrestler or whatever the deal might be. This kid doesn't care. This kid goes out and fights. He puts things on the line. When he did the Diaz fight, right? He accepts the Diaz fight at 170 pounds. Me and Lorenzo go talk to him after he loses the fight. He says, I want him again, and I want him at 170. I don't want 155. And Lorenzo and I are saying to the kid, why are you doing this? You're the 145-pound champion. Why are you fighting a guy at 170? This makes no sense. That's what he wanted, and that's why people love this kid. Because if you're a fight fan, that's the guy you want to follow. That's the guy you want to see fight. That's the guy you'll stay home on Saturday night and put your money down for. So I believe in this kid. I don't doubt him anymore, what he's capable of doing. This is the fight that he wanted, so we're making it happen.
Danny, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Does this open up the door for future UFC fighters to potentially cross over? Maybe me fighting Andre Ward or, Jorge Masvidal fighting, Amir Khan or something like that? Or is this just a once-in-a-lifetime thing that we have to have happen?
This was a fight that took on a life of its own. I wasn't into it. Conor and Floyd started talking, and these are two of the hottest guys in the world right now. You know what I mean? Floyd is undefeated. This was the right fight at the right place and the right time.
So it's not necessarily something
I'm
you guys
not looking to do this every weekend.
Okay, that's the question.
Very nice. Well, Dana, thank you so much for joining us today to break it all down for us. We really appreciate your time. We know you're in high, so thanks so much.